Alright, guys, I'm back with another chapter of 2 Samuel. We're in 2 Samuel chapter 6, where the header reads, Moving the Ark to Jerusalem, and we'll get right into it. Then David again gathered all the elite troops in Israel, 30,000 in all. He led them to Baalah of Judah, to bring back the Ark of God, which bears the name of the Lord of heaven's armies, who is enthroned between the cherubim. They placed the Ark of God on a new cart and brought it from Abinadab's house, which was on a hill. Uzzah and Ahio, Abinadab's sons, were guiding the cart that carried the ark of God. Ahio walked in front of the ark. David and all the people of Israel were celebrating before the Lord, singing songs and playing all kinds of musical instruments, lyres, harps, tambourines, castanets, and cymbals. But when they arrived at the threshing floor of Nacon, the oxen stumbled, and Uzzah reached out his hand and steadied the ark of God. Then the Lord's anger was aroused against Uzzah, and God struck him dead because of this. So Uzzah died right there beside the ark of God. David was angry because the Lord's anger had burst out against Uzzah. He named that place Perez Uzzah, which means to burst out against Uzzah, as it is still called today. David was now afraid of the Lord, and he asked, How can I ever bring the ark of the Lord back into my care? So David decided not to move the ark of the Lord into the city of David. Instead, he took it to the house of Obed-Edom of Gath. The ark of the Lord remained there in Obed-Edom's house for 3 months, and the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and his entire household. Then King David was told, The Lord has blessed Obed-Edom's household and everything he is because of the ark of God. So David went there and brought the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with a great celebration. After the men who were carrying the ark of the Lord had gone 6 steps, David sacrificed a bull and a fattened calf. And David danced before the Lord with all his might, wearing a priestly garment. So David and all the people of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouts of joy and the blowing of ram's horns. But as the ark of the Lord entered the city of David, Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked down from her window. When she saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, she was filled with contempt for him. They brought the ark of the Lord and set it in its place inside the special tent David had prepared for it. And David sacrificed burnt offerings and peace offerings to the Lord. When he had finished his sacrifices, David blessed the people in the name of the Lord of heaven's armies. Then he gave to every Israelite man and woman in the crowd a loaf of bread, a cake of dates, and a cake of raisins. Then all the people returned to their homes. When David returned home to bless his own family, Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet him. She said in disgust, How distinguished the king of Israel looked today, shamelessly exposing himself to the servant girls like any vulgar person might do. David retorted to Michal, I was dancing before the Lord, who chose me above your father and all his family. He appointed me as the leader of Israel, the people of the Lord, so I celebrate before the Lord. Yes, and I am willing to look even more foolish than this, even to be humiliated in my own eyes. But those servant girls you mentioned will indeed think I am distinguished. So Michal, the daughter of Saul, remained childless throughout her entire life. And that is the end of chapter 6. And so that interaction is interesting. As I was reading it, I'm thinking, David, why is he not humbling himself? What is the disconnect that I'm reading here? And then when you read further, his heart posture is kind of described, at least from his point of view. And so he mentions, no, I was doing everything that I could in the sight of the Lord. And so I assume, because she said exposed, I assume he's naked then? Let's see if my Bible study, let's see if my study Bible says anything real quick. I don't see anything off the top of this, but I have to assume that because it doesn't say what he was wearing or what he wasn't wearing, I guess I should say, for lack of a better word. And so I assume that's the case. And really, once he reflects on that, it really resonates with me when he chooses the words that he doesn't care if he looks like a fool for God. He doesn't worry about that. In fact, he would do much worse. He would look even more foolish, even in his own eyes, humiliate himself. And then he references, but those servant girls you mentioned will indeed think I am distinguished. So I'm curious as to why the servant girls would view him differently than Michal would, the daughter of Saul. And so maybe if that was just a jealousy or a frustration, but then to be punished, because we do know that David is God's anointed one right now, and that he is king. And so it references as if to have the opinion that she did, and to bring it to David's attention that she was punished for it. Say she remained childless throughout her entire life. And it was almost as if to say, because she had done that, or felt that way, or communicated that way to David. So it says, so Michal, the daughter of Saul, remained childless throughout her entire life. Because of that conversation, I assume that that's what they're getting to, and that's powerful. Don't work against what God is doing with intention. And so, a lot of us can be in one another's lives and create kind of, I don't want to say atrocities, but speed bumps for one another, but we do it unknowingly. She knows that David is God's anointed one. It's been identified and communicated and accepted by the people, no less. So it's not like it's a secret. So for her to come forward just like David did, just how David postured, say, hey, no, Saul is not mine to remove or do away with. And given the opportunity, he still chose not to. So he wouldn't even speak out against him. He got frustrated. He separated himself. He knew he had to be safe. But even God said that why did he dishonor himself? Choosing to separate, as if God wouldn't protect him right where he was at. And so this kind of is, in some sense, similar. Say, no, David chose not to lift a finger against him, not to speak out against him. The second that someone does speak out against his anointed one, punished. So it's extremely linear when you think about it. Sometimes, though, the extremes just seem unjust. But are they really? That's just from my perspective. And I don't want to conflate my perspective as if I hold it in a higher regard than God's. And so it confuses me. But as I read it, and if God's going to be 100% of the time, does it surprise me? No. He's a man. I guess not a man, but he follows through. It's kind of his thing. And so it might not go to our liking, but it is for our good, which is super interesting as well, which lets us know that we don't even know what we want or need to some extent. So we just got to trust. We just got to have faith. That takes practice. But on that note, have a good night. God bless. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I'll be back for chapter 7 of 2 Samuel, where the header reads, the Lord's covenant promise to David. And on that note, have a good night and God bless, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for chapter 7.